The 2024-25 NHL season will be a very interesting one for the Calgary Flames, as there should be plenty of players within the Flames organization who will be granted the chance to play at the NHL level. Last season, we saw quite a few players come up from the Wranglers. Some have solidified their spots for next season, while others, it will lead them into a make or break season come October, and a new article has kind of provided context on who some of these players may be. Before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. I love all of you guys. Let's get into this make or break situation for some of these prospects. Now, there's going to be a lot of holes to kind of fill in the Flames roster this season, depending on certain trades that are made, and depending, of course, on what the Flames decide to do in free agency this summer. They could fill those holes with some free agents, but otherwise they might not. And we're going to be taking a really good look at a really good article, I should say. And this one comes from Flames Nation, written by Mike Gold. All credit to him for this one here. And the article itself is 3 Calgary Flames forward prospects entering make or break years. So last year, we kind of got to see the emergence of certain players like Connor Zary and Martin Pospisil, which was fantastic. Players that Flames fans, kind of anticipated would have better seasons and solidified themselves more are, of course, Matt Coronado, Jacob Pelche. I know there's a big injury, and then, of course, Dustin Wolf as well, but I think it's almost certain that Wolfie will be at the NHL level for the upcoming season. But here we got to take a look at 3 forwards who it's make or break for them. It's either they can break out into the NHL level, or honestly, the Flames may no longer continue to develop them within the organization, even at the AHL level. We will just have to wait and see. So the 2024-25 iteration of the Flames will likely be younger than it was last season, of course. With the departures of 5 notable veteran players over the last calendar year, with perhaps more heading out in the coming weeks, this team will need to find replacements somewhere. That might mean the Flames sign an extra free agent or 2, but it could also spell more opportunities for members of the AHL's Calgary Wranglers. And I think that's the way that most of us would rather decide to do it at this point. Kind of develop the youth. We're getting all these assets and all these picks and prospects back in order to develop them and really make them comfortable within the organization, make sure they want to play here, and then, of course, develop them into really good players that can help us contend down the road. So let's jump into a couple of players who can be makes. They can make it at the NHL level. It's definitely likely that they can make it compared to, break it, I guess we can say in that way. And like the article said, it's 3 forwards, and the first 2 actually did have the chance to come up this season. The first one here is Cole Schwindt. Now, the article says, although he was one of the Wranglers' top performers during their brief foray into the 2024 Calder Cup playoffs, it's very true, he played well, Schwindt didn't take the major step forward during the regular season some might have hoped to see from him in his second year in the Flames organization. Now, this, of course, is alluding to his small chance he had at the NHL level, but also in the regular season in the AHL, he really didn't stand out compared to some other prospects that you would expect him to. Now, he came over as quite a big piece, well, not a huge piece, but a piece in the Jonathan Huberdeau / MacKenzie Weegar trade with the Florida Panthers that, of course, sent Matthew Tkachuk to hopefully win the Stanley Cup tonight. I'm recording this on Monday. I'm uploading this on Tuesday. Hopefully Florida can win tonight. But either way, Cole Schwindt came over in that trade and was supposed to be very, very good and hasn't quite made the next step. Now, I will show his NHL stats from this season. They should be popping up right about now. And this has been him so far. Well, this was him last season. Really wasn't given all that much of an opportunity. 4 games with an average time on ice in those games of less than 7 minutes. 0 points. A -1, the Corsi for percentage way under 50, but I mean, with that small of a sample size, that's what you could expect. He is still pretty young. He is approaching, obviously, his mid-20s, but he still has potential, and he could be, quite a good player for the Flames in the future. But like the article and this whole video are saying, it is a make or break season for him. He has to prove early. Let's just say he doesn't make the Flames roster come training camp or out of training camp, He has to make a difference early for the Wranglers, or else this could be his last season within the organization. I doubt the Flames will continue to commit to him. However, he could be so good for the Flames, and I really hope he does take that next step because he's a great prospect. His game off the ice is better than it is on it. If you know, you know. And hopefully he really can step it up. Now let's get into the next one here who is also a make in my opinion, and that is Adam Klapka. He came up towards the end of the season a couple times as well. So Klapka is also 23, although he'll turn 24 midway through training camp in September. What a geezer. He's certainly a unique player, always bounding about with the happy-go-lucky energy of a golden retriever, despite looming extremely large at 6'8" and 235 pounds. Obviously, those dimensions are close to mine. Thank you so much. But either way, Adam Klapka, as I said, he came up towards the end of the season and he was pretty good. I really, really like his style. Remember Buddy Robinson when he came up with Johnny Gaudreau a little bit as buddies, and Buddy Robinson played for a little bit for the Flames? Klapka kind of reminds me of him, but a lot better. We all remember his beautiful, beautiful goal in the Calder Cup playoffs as well. Now, if we look at his small sample size as well from this past season, he came up for 6 games and had the 1 goal in the final game of the season against San Jose, which was so nice to see. He kind of looks like Chad Michael Murray a bit to me. And what's funny here is the article says he's 6'8". Here it says he's 6'7". Adam, please, if you're watching, comment below and tell us what is your real height. We'll just say 6'7.5" for now. But either way, the 1 goal in 6 games, pretty good. Also a -1 in his small sample size and less than 7 minutes per game. Both these guys, with the uncertainty of what the Flames roster will look like going into next season, it's interesting that these guys could get a very good opportunity to really show what they can do. And I think for both of them, I really hope they can be makes and continue to play in this organization, hopefully at the NHL level. I really do like Adam Klapka. Now let's talk here about maybe some big break potential. Like the article said, there were 3 forwards. We'll be taking a look at 1 more here before we kind of wrap up the video and go into the comment of the day. But there's 1 more to look at, and that is Nikolaev, which I don't know where his first name went. I'm pretty sure it's Ilya. If it's not, feel free to roast me down in the comments. But it's starting to look like it just might not happen for Nikolaev, who the Flames drafted in the 3rd round all the way back in 2019. Pretty cool. The stocky Russian center has appeared in just 35 AHL games, including the playoffs, over the last 3 seasons, posting 3 goals and 6 points. Not great numbers, and he has not taken the next step in the North American game at all. I mean, just 35 AHL games over the last 3 seasons. There's no chance he'll be, really in the NHL lineup at all. But if he doesn't impress in the AHL either, there's a strong chance the Flames will just say no, which is too bad because he was a 3rd round pick 5 years ago, and to have to say goodbye to them kind of hurts a little bit, but he just really hasn't been him. I will just let the article talk a little more. The 2023-24 season marked Nikolaev's longest run with the Wranglers, and he started hot, picking up his first 4 AHL points in his first 4 games. It was looking good of the year back in November. After that, Nikolaev was held off the score sheet while playing limited minutes in 23 of 25 games to close out the season. Not numbers you want to see at all. And like I said before, I don't think he'll at all make it at the NHL level. We'll have to see about the AHL level, but after reading this and doing a little bit of research, I can't imagine anyone will be too upset if the Flames do decide to move on from Nikolaev. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, and this one I actually really liked from a couple videos ago, just kind of about certain scenarios that the Flames can do, and this one comes from our regular around here Guitar Memoir, always commenting quality comments on every single video. Really like this one. With other contenders interested, it would probably take a massive overpayment to get Jake, as in DeBrusk, to sign in Calgary. He'd be a great ad if we could get him for cheap, but not as an unrestricted free agent, in my opinion. My opinion is in Guitar Memoirs. If we are going to overpay, I advocate for offer sheeting youngish RFA players with potential. Love that idea. Here are a few examples of centers. Anton Lundell, of course, playing really well in the Stanley Cup final right now for the Florida Panthers. Matty Beniers, who had a bit of an offseason in Seattle, but is still very good. A high draft pick not too long ago. Joe Veleno, who we've talked about a bit on the channel before, of the Detroit Red Wings. Very fast, developing, but still not doing all that great. Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators, who Sens fans think is absolutely untouchable, maybe when it comes to betting. And then, of course, Dawson Mercer, who we talk about in almost every video about Jacob Markstrom. But either way, I really like the thinking here. I am kind of an advocate for Guitar Memoir being the next GM of the Calgary Flames. If you haven't seen any of his comments over any of the videos, go back and look, because this guy has some good ideas, and I always appreciate you commenting them here on the channel. We love having you in the community, and I really, really like this comment. This is a very, very good idea. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.